on the X3, it's actually fairly simple to take out your original seats that are in them. The first part is going to be lifting the bottom cushion. Now they made it very easy. There's going to be 2 bolts on either side. Those are 13 millimeters. You're going to be able to pull those out. And the seat's going to come off the trolley system. Now for this part, we're only going to remove the front 2 bolts, which are the 13 millimeter, and you'll need a 13 millimeter wrench, as well as an 18 millimeter nut that's actually going to be in the back. We're going to pull out the entire seat and trolley system together. One thing to notice on these mounts, there's going to be actually 2 things, is one, the spacers that are actually provided in the kit are going to be shorter than your factory spacers, and that's just to get you a little bit lower. Another thing that we did on this mount was, one, you have the main cutout for any speaker or surround sound system that you're going to be putting into your car, and 2, you can actually flip it either way. And so that way you can get that recline that you like. You can also get the height that you want out of it, making it one of the most universal mounts that we can make. So now it's the fun part of the build where we actually start to get to put our seats together and start seeing everything taking shape. That way we can go out and have some fun. All right, so I just have the seat thrown into there right now. We got to set up those race heaters, plug everything back in before we can drop that mount in. So we're going to go ahead and do that, plug everything in, line up the mount, and it should drop right in for you. So now we have the seats set in there. You can see that we're sitting a little bit lower. You can tell from the passenger side, which does have the mount in the high position. So this does drop you down just a little bit more, gives you that recline that you're looking for, and make sure you're comfortable in that car.
We've got to take the lap belts off of this because we don't have the stock sliders anymore with the new lowering Can-Am mount on the actual front seat. So we had to take the lap belts off the old slider, and now we're going to go ahead and attach these to the new placement offerings on the new lower prototype Can-Am mount that'll eventually be on the market for you guys. So when you're watching this, coming soon. Zach, want to show the guys where the actual placement is for this on this new one?
So previously on the stock Can-Am mount, the harnesses or seat belts, the 2 lap belts were attached actually to the slider mechanism, which isn't necessarily always the best just because it has a little bit of movement in there. For these, we're actually going to hard bolt it down to these 2 studs that are connected to the frame in the back, and then have it kind of wrap around to the side and back up into the seat. For the shoulder harnesses, we're actually going to wrap it around the harness bar up here instead of going the tabs, just because it makes it a little bit better angle for straight going through the headrest on the seats. So for these, we're just going to use, make sure you got the right side. Going to use that 3-bar slide and wrap it around and back through the tabs up here. After we get this harness in, we're actually going to go back and forth and kind of readjust the harness up here and sit in the seat, get the seat set to where they're going to use it right there. That way those pads sit correctly kind of where they need to be once the seat is set. So when adjusting the shoulder harnesses on there, you want to make sure that the seat is set kind of where you need to be. So jump in the seat, slide it back and forth, figure out where's a good kind of length front to back for where you want to be. And then you need to set those shoulders so the pads are going to be on your shoulders correctly so they don't rub against your neck or they're too far back and bunching up and the pads are coming up high. Typically, kind of a good starting rule of thumb is have the top of the pads right about where our logos are, right there. So when you sit in the seat like this, it's going to be right about where your shoulders are, but that does vary. So you definitely want to have 2 people kind of doing this. Have the person who's sitting in the seat sit in the seat, have them jump in, because some people are going to be taller, some are going to be shorter. the placement of that pad is gonna move a little bit. But that's a kind of general good starting rule of thumb, is to work about right there. On the back side, you're gonna have your 3-bar slider and your strap right here. If you're trying to match these up, it's really easy. The best way to do it, move that 3-bar slider up and down where you want it to be on the strap. Put it right in front of the bar, because that's where it's gonna sit once you get everything hooked up and tightened up, and kind of use that to judge on looking at the front of your harness if it needs to come up higher or be down lower. And that's the easiest and kind of fastest way of figuring it out. Then take that strap, gonna run it underneath the bar, back up through the 3-bar slide, kind of pull it tight on there, double check, like that 3-bar slide moved a little bit when I did that. Take it, slide it through the first, forward again right here, and then go and adjust as you need. When you're finally done and you have it set exactly how you want, you're gonna take it and tuck it one more time. This time going towards the back. This one's always the hardest one to get in because it gets pretty tight. But that way all this excess strap goes back. It doesn't go forward and get tucked through your seat and kind of tickle your neck and all that stuff on there. And that's the way you're gonna finish it off.
I'm gonna be the primary driver. Zach's gonna get these safely secured. I feel like a princess. Are you gonna feed me grapes too?
Watch out, I might get the fan out.
Might get the fan.
Pretty good, you're sure, right on the back of your neck. This one...
What do you think, Joe?
That one might need to come forward a little bit more.
So typically when you buy our belts, everyone, is that these are pre-assembled. But since we took the seats completely out several times, we took the harnesses out as well, just so we could get these new mounts in easier. But now I've got the fancy job of putting this thing back into the lap. Joe, this is something, brother.
It's not that hard, buddy. In all fairness, I've done a couple hundred of these.
Yeah, and I've done absolutely zero. I've never had to take it. I've never had it completely apart. Let's see if I can Tosh.0 redemption. Thanks.
Get in here straight right there.
That's what he calls it, right? He has a.
Yeah, when they come back and
They come back. Yeah, I like. All I remember is the "I like turtles" kid.
I like turtles.
He had to do a redemption with that kid. I don't even think that show's still on.
How did he say it again?
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
this would be one of those perfect segments to do 5 hours later.
5 hours later.
No, just the Jeopardy music. I'm like trying to just feed the corner of this strap into this bar. What are you doing, knucklehead? No.
Give me 1 minute.
Don't you dare. I'm like,
All right, we still gotta bolt down all the stuff in the back. You gotta tighten it up.
okay.
No, he ain't going nowhere.
No. So we have the PRP GT3s in. We finished adjusting the harnesses to be the perfect amount of length. We had to re-strap in the laps, but this thing is dialed. Gonna keep us safe, way better than the retractable setups that the car comes with. Got pads on here. It's gonna be super comfortable when we go hit the desert. So thank you guys for tuning in on the DIY series on seats and harnesses.